Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commerce Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, let's talk about some things that are happening right now in the MTG market. Some crazy changes in prices of cards that may indicate what people might think might be happening moving forward with all these massive shakeups. Again, words I never thought I'd say, but Wizards is now in control of Commander, no longer the rules committee, so yeah, some things are probably going to change here in a bit. Let's jump into it. Starting off by talking about some cards that spiked in price recently with the recent announcement again that Wizards is in charge and them putting out like their power bracket system kind of thing. If you haven't seen the episode, make sure you check that one out. But basically, they've got like level 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 being the most powerful. The two cards that they show off in that one are Vampiric Tutor, which I have seen in plenty of decks out there that I played against, and Armageddon, which I've seen in nearly no decks that I played against. So them kind of showing like, hey, we're going to be putting certain things in certain categories. Coalition Victory is one that many players out there have thought is going to be unbanned at some point. So, I mean, or should be unbanned, I guess. That's kind of like the casual player's card to be like, why isn't this unbanned? You know, why is this banned in the first place? And now we are seeing that some speculators out there think that this might be a card that becomes unbanned, spiking all the way up to around $6 when it's like been a $1 card for the longest time because it's not legal in Commander. The only format that would ever use this card. You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. Spiked all the way up to $6 or so. Let's go quickly through these cards, and then I'll give you my assessment on whether or not I think certain things are going to be banned or unbanned, or I should say unbanned at this point. Because again, with Wizards having this shakeup, Wizards putting out like this power bracket thing, it kind of makes it seem like, yeah, they're going to be changing some things, and if they're going to be wanting to unban certain high-priced cards that maybe just got banned, they need to kind of smokescreen it and throw other cards in there with the unbannings as well, and this is definitely one that they could, and yeah, some speculators out there are thinking that as well. Next up, Prime Time. Yet another card that, like, way back when, sure, was probably problematic in Commander, but like there are so many things that are much more problematic than this these days. Up to over $15 right now. Again, it's been a $5 card for a while with this printing apparently, but now over $17.91 is its current listing, which is crazy. So yeah, over 3 times as expensive because players are buying it in anticipation of potential unbanning. Next up, we've got, if I could get there we go, Hull Breacher. This is another one where players are now speculating that could be one that is unbanned. It is, I believe, I mean, other than Golos, I think the last ban decision that was made by the Rules Committee over 3 years ago, up until the giant 4 bannings that just happened 2 weeks ago or so. This one, around $2 or so, now up to over $6. Again, like, the market fluctuations on these are going to be pretty crazy because, yeah, no one really knows what's going to happen, so people are just doing some weird things, apparently. Moving on, we've got Biorhythm. Yet another card that's kind of like in that Coalition Victory kind of area of bans where it's like, this is a card where casual players are like, why not? And the Rules Committee was like, no, bad casual players. But yeah, Biorhythm's kind of like, yeah, it's a card that is kind of jokey. And I guess, I don't know what Wizards, if they did unban it, which power level they'd put this in, because like, yeah, I don't think it's like, it's not a power level 4 type card, but it's like one that's like, I don't know. It's kind of, it's going to be weird where they end up with that power level type thing, the bracket system, because like there's so many weird edge cases and stuff like that. And if they unban this, like where does that go? Who knows? Anyways, up from, you know, just around $1 or so to like $8, $7. Pretty crazy. Paradox Engine, yet another card that was banned by the Rules Committee in recent-ish history, I guess, like 4 years ago or so at this point. But yeah, I mean, this is a card that was high profile when it got banned, and it could be one that, again, Wizards is like, okay, we're going to unban it, but it is a power level 4 type card, and they probably would put it up there or something like that. Maybe a little lower than that, maybe a 3, but still, like, again, they might lean on that power system a bit too much to say, like, this solves the problem. And whether or not that actually solves the problem of, you know, players actually playing the cards that other players don't want to play against, then I don't know. Yeah, around like $3 or $4 or so, up to around $8, so yeah, about double the price. Panoptic Mirror, one that I've said should be unbanned for a long, long time now because it's a like long form 2-card combo that takes forever to do. And sure, you Armageddon each turn, but like how many people are actually doing this and you can actually remove it? Okay, that's a different discussion for a different day. But yeah, anyways, around $2 or so, up to over 4. Sylvan Prime, oh, let's see if we can get there. Sylvan Primordial, there we go. Like a very cheap, like, 50-cent card or so, a little less than that even, up to around $1, going up quickly right now because, again, when Wizards showed off, like, their power level brackets, they're like, yeah, Armageddon's a 4. Like, it is a 4. So, like, saying that, like, okay, Land Destruction is still, like, on this list. It's not, like, getting banned most likely, obviously. So, yeah, maybe they do unban other Land Destruction type things and just, like, put them up in the higher power levels. We shall see, though. Yeah, I can't imagine this being, like, a 4, though. This would be, like, I don't even know. And that's just kind of, like, how they currently have it, Their power level thing is kind of weird because, like, Vampiric Tutor and Armageddon are two very different kind of cards when it comes to, like, their actual powers. Like, Vampiric Tutor is a power 9 type card for a commander. Armageddon is definitely not. That being said, like, its annoyance level is up there. It's, like, Incredible Salt. So this is a very salty card as well. We shall see if they unban some salty cards and basically say, like, hey, like, it's just, like, we'll label them as salty cards, but don't play them, but people still play them. Tolarian Academy, one that really went up in price. I mean, some big speculation on this one. Around $100 or so, up to over $200 in some places. Absolutely crazy. Again, people saying, like, okay, Wizards taking over the format. Oh, well, guys, Cradle is, out there, and that's, probably power level 4 card or whatever that they'd say. So let's unban Tolarian Academy and just throw in power level 4, like right next to Guy's Cradle. We'll see if they do that against the people with some big speculation on this. If it was to be unbanned in Commander, there'd be a huge shakeup. And again, at the end, not the end of this episode, but after I'm done with these few other cards, I will be going through and letting you know which cards I think have the potential to be unbanned and which will never be unbanned. We shall see. Sway the Stars, a card that I've argued probably should be unbanned, is a card that others are thinking might be, apparently. Again, it's like a 50-cent or so card, up to around $5, so like 10 times the price right now. Again, some speculators out there thinking that this one might be one that players are like, yeah, like, players might not want to play against it, but Wizards could just be like, yeah, it's one of those, like, annoying cards, like, don't put it in your deck kind of thing, but, like, they're gonna maybe unban it because it's a card that, like, it's 10 mana. It's a game-ending card, quote-unquote, but it doesn't end the game kind of thing. So, yeah, it's not really going to see all that much play, but it would annoy some players when it is played, potentially. Yawgmoth's Bargain, yet another one that has gone up in price recently. It's just really interesting to see, again, if you just literally, like, type in any card that is currently banned and you see its price, there's a good amount of them with prices that have gone up. Again, players out there speculating, saying, like, okay, Wizards is in charge of the format now. A big shakeup has occurred. For better or for worse, from what people think, essentially. But there are going to be certain changes that do happen because it's the first time Wizards has been in control of the format. Again, Yawgmoth's Bargain, a very, 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 very powerful card. Yeah, going from around like $10 or so, a little bit less than that, to around 15 or so. Okay, now handy dandy tier maker time. I have 4 different categories. Yeah, I like to take out I think I've heard other people talk about this too. Like, I don't like to have like a complete, like, 5 categories sometimes because, like, it's good just to be like, okay, like, when you have like, what's the percent chance of things happening? Not having that middle, like, I don't know. Like, it kind of forces you to go one side or the other. So we've got high chance unbanned, some chance unbanned, little chance unbanned, no chance unbanned. The little chance is like, probably never, but like there is a chance. The no chance is like literally this will never happen ever. Now, when it comes to ones that I do think are going to be unbanned, this is not like what I want to be banned, what I want to be unbanned. This is literally what do I think Wizards is going to do. Again, I do believe that they are going to make a major move shortly because if they have any chance to make a move on Mana Crypt, it is now. Again, literally, they just got control of the format. They are, I guess, like, trying to calm things down, I guess. And, like, one of their, like, I'm calming things down kind of solutions could be like, hey, like, we saw, like, the blowback from that banning from the rules committee. We're going to undo certain parts of it that we did not agree with. And I think one of them that they did not agree with and would not want banned, even though it is a crazy powerful card and maybe should be banned, is Mana Crypt. Again, if you're upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, 3 damage to you. That doesn't matter really all that much in Commander at all. Like 1.5 damage per turn. Who cares? You have 40 life. Cost 0 taps for 2. Basically, free Soul Ring. I think that they're going to unban this one. I think that, again, they are going to say, like, hey, giant financial shakeup. Oh, no. Players are very upset. here's a way to appease certain players out there. And again, they're just going to like, we've solved it with the power bracket system. It's in 4. There you go. That's what they'll just like, it's in 4. We've solved it. Okay, like that's kind of like our mini ban of it, but like not banning it at all because players will just play it. So yeah, it's I think that is one that they will do. One I do not think that they're going to do, and actually my apologies for getting separate arts on this. But anyways, Dockside Extortionist, I don't think that they're going to go with an unban on this one. This one's one that like didn't catch people as surprised nearly as much as like a Mana Crypt with the banning because it had been discussed, although the rules committee last year was like, yeah, it's probably not going to be banned, and now it's banned. Weird. 1/2 Goblin Pirate for 2 mana and red enters the battlefield. Create extra tokens for X number of artifacts to change opponent's control. I mean, it's Mana Crypt is faster. This one is just more like combo-y and crazy powerful at any point of the game that's like past like a very early turn. Whereas Mana Crypt's like, yeah, turn 1, crazy, you're off to an absurd start. You win, basically. Dockside, crazy good. I think that, again, like, I don't think that they're going to unban all the cards that were just banned. I think this one's a little chance unban. Like, it's definitely not like no chance. Like, no chance, I'm saying literally like 0% chance ever unbanned. There's only so many cards that fit into that. But yeah. I think this one is little percent chance unbanned, and again, my apologies for the separate arts on that, but I don't think that this is one that they're going to reverse right away. I don't think that they do that. This would be like their only opportunity to do so, and I don't think that they're going to take it on that. Nadu Winged Wisdom. This is one that, again, like they literally admitted as a design mistake, kind of. Like I mean, there was an entire article about like how like it was changed last minute because they panicked because they thought like the original version wouldn't be good for Commander, and I actually think the original version was fine for Commander, ironically, and this version's not. 3/4 Bird Wizard, flying for 3 mana and Simic. Creature you control have whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library if it's a land card on the battlefield. Otherwise, put in your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. That's per creature. Again, like anything like Shuko that targets for free is crazy. I think that, again, since they've admitted that this one's like literally a problem in any format, that it was literally a design mistake, I think there is no chance this gets unbanned. Like, I just don't think that this one ever gets unbanned because, again, and I could be very wrong on this. Again, I am probably going to be wrong on some of these. I mean, it's just a kind of a fun experiment, but yeah, I do think Nadu is one that, since they've admitted that it's a design mistake and it caused problems in other formats and it caused problems in Commander, this is one that, again, is going to be one of those ones that just sticks with a ban. So, yeah, and I do think that, like, if Nadu and Dockside were the two that were just banned instead of Mana Crypt and the next one we're talking about, like, there wouldn't have been nearly as much backlash. And yeah, I do think that Wizards is going to keep Nadu banned, and I think it's going to keep Dockside banned too, but I think Nadu has, like, no chance of being unbanned. Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus is yet another one that, like, Wizards made the card, so and again, like the more recent ones, like when they make a card and it's more recent, they're like, yeah, we believe this is fine for Commander, especially when it's like specifically for Commander. Artifact for 0 tap, sacrifice, add 3 mana of any one color, space one to cast your Commander. Yeah, this is like, again, a card that I just think it doesn't need to exist. Many out there don't think it needs to exist, and Wizards is like, yeah, we're just gonna sell it's a Black Lotus for Commander, it's fine. So yeah, this is another one where I do think that they unban it, unfortunately. And they basically say, like, you know, it was a mistake that the rules committee made to ban it. We are unbanning it. It's just going to be in our power level 4 kind of thing. And it like that solves the issue, even though it doesn't really solve the issue. But they're going to say it solves the issue. So yeah, again, the two like real money cards out of the ones that were just banned. I mean, Dockside's definitely up there as well. But yeah, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, very, very expensive cards. I think they're going to say, like, oh, we're fixing it by unbanning things, which I don't know if it really fixes it, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I do think that they will unban that. Incest Recall. Instant for a single blue mana, draw 3, or I mean, basically target player draws 3 cards, right? Yeah, this one is one that is so incredibly absurd and powerful when Wizards really didn't know how to design certain cards, when they're like, yeah, 3 life, gaining 3 life, and drawing 3 cards, the same thing, right? No. So this is one that I don't think ever will be unbanned no matter what. So I think that this one, again, is just so absurd, it's not going to be unbanned. Okay, next up. Balance. Each player chooses a number of lands he or she controls equal number of lands controlled by the player controls the fewest and sacrifice the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. I mean, like, again, if you have Armageddon on your list and being like, yeah, it's a power level 4 card. Like, and Wizards is, like, using this time to, like, reevaluate things in their own way. And again, if they truly believe in this power bracket system, they might be willing to make some major changes and be like, okay, like, you know what? Balance is like along those lines of an Armageddon where, yeah, it's a pretty absurd card that can be problematic. But again, if you are playing with the mindset of, hey, we're playing power level 4, everyone's on the same page, that same page apparently includes just demolishing all lands and stuff. So balance would be in that. How likely is this to get unbanned? I'm going to give this one like a little chance. It's not a no chance. It's definitely like higher than Incest Recall. It is a like, again, will they lean on the power bracket system to say like, it's fine because of that? We shall see. Again, it's not like a giant chase card kind of thing. It just really depends on really how they view their power bracket system. And if they think that that solves all the issues inherent to Commander when it comes to players playing against each other and not knowing maybe like where each other are at. Biorhythm next up. This one is one that again could help Smokescreen. I think some other people out there have been saying like Smokescreen kind of like when it comes to like unbanning Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt. I do think that those two are probably unfortunately going to be happening. And I think with that, they're going to throw in some other cards to like appease casuals and kind of like distract the conversation just from, and I'm a casual player as well, I should say. But yeah, distract the conversation from, if they just unban Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt, it'd be very, very obvious as to what they're doing with that. But if they throw in other cards, it kind of confuses and muddles the conversation. Also gets some like goodwill from certain parts of the community again that like want to Biorhythm unban, which is fine. Like I'd be fine with this card being unbanned. Sorcery for 8 mana in green. Each player's life total becomes the number of creatures they control. Again, they could throw it in whatever their power bracket system, be like, yeah, this is one of those like salty cards that like you shouldn't play with certain groups, kind of. But like, it's not a card that's inherently overpowered. It really isn't. It's just a card that can just end the game out of nowhere, basically, for many players out there. I think this is like a some chance unban. I don't think it's a high likelihood. I do think it's probably closer to the top than it is the bottom. It is a card that, again, like, you know what? Maybe it is more of like, maybe it more is like a high chance unban compared to others, because this is like along the same lines of Coalition Victory. Although I guess this one you can throw in like any green deck, kind of. Versus Coalition Victory is all colors, so maybe let's keep this here for some chance. Yeah, it's kind of like that border level of some chance, high chance, I think. Yeah, it's definitely, again, like a casual player definitely are saying like, you know, it's a completely fine card. Like, why is this not unbanned? All right, Black Lotus. Yet another, of course, Power 9, actual Power 9 card. 0 mana, tap, sacrifice for 3. Again, like, Jeweled Lotus is the, you know, Lotus of Commander. This is like the actual one. You basically just sacrifice this. You get 3 mana of any color. It's crazy, crazy overpowered. This is, in my opinion, a no chance unbanned card. Like, there is no way they unban this one. Yeah, they're going to be like, no, Jeweled Lotus is as far as we'd go for a Lotus in Commander, and they're not going to go Black Lotus. So I could be proven very wrong, but I don't believe like Power 9 is actually getting into Commander outside of the one that's already there with Time Twister. We shall see, though. Next up, Raid's Cabal Minion. Okay, this is another layer of discussion because like Wizards could bring back Banned as a commander. They really could, and there could be some argument to do so, again, because like there are people at Wizards who have certain opinions on certain things of the format that are different than the rules committee, like very different, like the hybrid mana symbols. Like Morrow has talked about the hybrid mana symbols for a long time and how like those cards should be, you know, like if you have like a hybrid Orzhov card, you should be able to play that in mono white or mono black, like, or, you know, any combination of those, essentially. You shouldn't need to have both colors present in the deck. So that could be, again, something where there has been arguments in the past for them to switch back to Banned as a commander, and Wizards might do that. Again, with all these shakeups, they might do that. If they do that, I do think Braid's Cabal Minion would be unbanned. I think they're going to be more hesitant to unban commanders, though, when it comes to these decisions. I think more of the unbans will be 99, not commander focused. I mean, not commander focused as in like the format, but not commander focused as in like the cards that are getting unbanned are actual commanders themselves. So Braid's Cabal Minion, I think there is a chance to be unbanned. I don't think Braid should be banned ever, because again, like, I personally say free Braids, of course. 2/2 human minion for 4 mana and black at the beginning of each player's upkeep. The player sacrifice artifact, creature, or land. Again, it's a stacks piece. Like, again, you put it in whatever power level 3, 4, whatever you're going to put it in. It's a stacks piece. Like, there are worse stacks cards out there. The quote-unquote problem is with this one that it, as a commander, like, it's a very quick stacks commander. Like, that it's just in the 99, or it's in the command zone versus 99. That being said, like, if you're going to play up against a Braids deck, you're just like, could you please play something else? Because I don't want to play against stacks. So, again, it's interesting to see, like, where Wizards will go with these ones, especially, again, the commanders, if they will actually unban something like a Braids. I think, again, that because I don't think they want to shake up like the commanders themselves as much as like the 99, I think that Braids will stay banned. Though, again, if they do change that rule where they have, banned as a commander, Braids could be brought back, banned as a commander, but not banned in the 99. We shall see. One that I've seen players arguing for that I'm just like, really? Channel? I can't imagine them doing this. We shall see. Sorcery for green until end of turn. Anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add 1 mana to your mana pool. I really can't see this one ever being unbanned. I can't, but I have seen people online like arguing for it. And again, yeah, if you have power level for it, sure, but like, I picture just turn 1, and again, this would be like a very CDH though, but like turn 1, this, just going at it. I think that'd be absolutely crazy. I can't, again, like I'm gonna put this one in just little chance unbanned, just because I've seen like people online talking about it for some reason. And maybe they know something I don't, but like I can. Channel's one of those cards that like I've just always been like, yeah, that's just something inherently broken in Magic. And then also it's even more broken in Commander because you're like, oh yeah, you've got even more life just to give on turn 1 for no reason. So yeah, I do think that this one, again, in my opinion, probably would be like no chance, but apparently it's little chance, just because there has been discussion. So I've been convinced a little bit, okay? Next up, Chaos Orb. Now this one, I'm not going to read the entire card, but it's a dexterity card, essentially, where you're like kind of like flipping it or whatever from a certain height. So dexterity cards, I don't think will ever be unbanned because that's just something that's just not fair for people who can't utilize those cards in that way. So yeah, Chaos Orb, I do not think will ever be unbanned because of that. It's just a different, it's kind of like, actually in this list too, I should have mentioned already, anti-cards I did not include on this. Those have, in my opinion, no chance of being unbanned. And there's like the conspiracy type cards or whatever that like don't really work in Commander that are also just like under the ban list, but technically not there. So like those I'm not going to bring up. Also just consider those as no chance unbanned. Okay, Coalition Victory. Sorcery for 8 mana. In Wooburg, you win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. It's an I win the game card. It's not impossible to pull off at all. It's decently easy for some decks, but like, yeah, I mean, if you got like a 5-color commander and it's in play and you also just like ramp and fix your mana so you have 1 land of each basic land type, or there are certain cards out there like, hey, your lands are all land types, there you go. But I mean, again, like it is kind of a very casual I win the game card. There's other alternative win conditions that are much easier than this even, and those are fine in Commander, so it's really weird that this one's banned, but the rules committee just didn't like it for some reason. Again, I do think that this one, because I do believe that they are going to, and again, I don't like it, but I think they are. I think they will unban Mana Crypt. I think they will unban Jeweled Lotus, and I think, again, they need that kind of smoke screen for it. I think this is a card that really appeals to, like, hey, we're being friendly with the Commander community. We've heard people for years talking about Coalition Victory need to be unbanned. We hear you, run banning it. So it's like, yeah, I do think that they're going to unban certain things, including this one. Again, maybe Biorhythm's up there too with it, but like Coalition Victory, I think is an easier, like, kind of like jank card to like be like, hey, look, it's fun, 5-color, what are you doing, weird stuff. So yeah, I think that one again does have a chance to be unbanned. Next up, Recol, the Aeon's Torn. Again, high chance I should say for that one. A 15/15 drowsy for 15 mana, can't be countered. When you cast, take an extra for this one. Flying, protection for colored spells, Annihilator 6. From the grave for anywhere, shuffle in the library. This is one that's like, again, if they change that rule on like banned as commander, they will bring Emrakul back, which I think would be a massive announcement. Yeah, I just think that is probably what would happen. If they don't change the ban as commander, again, I'm less likely to believe that they will shake up things as commanders. We shall see. Again, like this is one where I could see like them making a big splash move, and this is unbanned, and it's pretty crazy. I don't think that they're going to get there, though, so I am also just going to, I think I'm just going to default my default position on any of these, like, commanders, and maybe that changes with one specific one, because, like, these ones are, like, problematic for a certain reason. Again, like, this one's like, okay, you cast it, you kind of win. I mean, kind of win, but you can definitely just kind of get there. So, yeah, I think this one's little chance unbanned, but we shall see. Arios or Tommy Ascendant, a 1/1 flyer, cast your 4 spell, you flip it, flips over to a legendary enchantment, counter the first spell played by each opponent each turn. Yeah, basically one that, as a commander, you can flip pretty quickly. You build the deck around it, and your opponents really can't do much about it, and then they're having a lot of things countered. And then you just play a bunch of counter spells, and then they don't do anything. Again, I don't think that that's one that they're gonna like really push to unban. Again, if they do ban this commander, like this will automatically, not automatically, but it will be unbanned. It is completely fine to 99. If they do, you know, or do the ban as commander thing, then yeah, that would be unbanned as the card of 99. Falling Star, yet another card that's like Chaos Orb Dexterity based, so this is another one that I just think is no chance of being unbanned ever. It's just a different kind of category of card, kind of like Anti. It's just a card that will never be unbanned. Fast Bond. Enchant for a single green mana, you may play any number of lands on each of your turns. So whenever you play a land, was the first land played this turn, it deals 1 damage to you. I mean, it's a crazy powerful card. There are also very, very powerful cards in Magic, and those are also unbanned too. This is one where I could see them being like, yeah, it's a power level 4 card. It is one that I think that there's some chance of this being unbanned. Again, very different reason than Biorhythm, because Biorhythm is nowhere near as powerful as Fast Bond, but just like janky and weird. This is one that I do think has a chance of being unbanned if they, again, are like, let's lean heavily onto our power level bracket discussion thing. So yeah, if this is one, that could potentially be one that they do utilize. So we shall see. Next up, and this is a very, very weird one. This is Flash. So Flash is an instant for 2 mana in blue. You may put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2. This is a very strange card because this card was not banned for casual play. This card was banned for CEDH. But because, again, casual and CEDH are technically the exact same format, this card was banned to appease CEDH players. And this is a card that, again, will the rules committee made that, you know, appeasing move. Does Wizards undo the appeasing move? I doubt it, because Wizards just said, like, on that stream that, like, they want to keep CDH and, you know, casual as the same thing, not having separate ban lists. So I don't think that they just upset the CDH community by just like, oh yeah, unban Flash, because, like, it's not. Again, like, if it's on the power level scale of Commander, like, they had power level 4 down to power level 1, like, this is a power level 1 card. It's something that, like, any deck in casual could just utilize fine. Like, it's not problematic. Now, when you build an entire CDH deck around this, and you're like, oh yeah, this plus Protean Hulk equals I win the game, and you're winning on turn 1 with it, yeah, like, I can see why it's problematic in that format, but, like, it's not problematic for casuals at all. So it's a very weird card that, like, I don't think it's a no chance. I don't think it's a no chance at all. I think it is a little chance unbanned. I don't think, again, that they would upset the CEDH community, especially when things, like, are very tumultuous, and they're trying to probably get everyone on the same page right now. And this would really throw off an entire section of the community by being like, yeah, okay, so CEDH community, we helped you out by unbanning Mana Crypt and Lotus. There you go, you're welcome. But also we unbanned Flash as well. What? Yeah, so I don't think that they would do that. We shall see. Gifts Ungiven. Instant for 4 mana in blue. Search life to 4 cards, different names, reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. 2 go into your graveyard, 2 in your hand, then shuffle. Yeah, this is one that, like, again, is one of those, like, questionably banned ones, in my opinion, where it's like, there's powerful things out there. Like, is this more powerful than Vampiric Tutor? Like, I don't think so. This is one where they could definitely justify unbanning it and just putting it up in power level 4. Like, yeah, sure, okay, this gets you a 2-card combo. Whatever. Cool. It does. Great. There's other cards that do that too. I do think that this one has a high chance of being unbanned. I do think that, again, if they are doing their power bracket system as they are right now and they're showing it off and saying, like, okay, we've got these cards here, these cards here, these cards here. This is what a power level 4 tutor looks like, which is Vampiric. Is Gifts Ungiven more problematic than Vampiric Tutor? I don't think so. Like, I don't think, is Gifts Ungiven more problematic than Vampiric Tutor? I don't think it is. So, like, I think that they could have a justification to be like, yeah, this is just a power level 4 card. If you don't want to play against power level 4, like, make that known, essentially, versus, you know, having it banned. So I do think that that one is yet another, like, okay, this is this is Wizards now in control of the format. This is what we're about. This is how we're going to be making decisions. And if we're utilizing this power bracket thing and we're leaning on it, here is a card that we believe the power bracket system solves. We shall see. Next up, this is where I kind of eat my words a little bit. Golos Tireless Pilgrim is one that I do believe, unlike the other commanders that I've talked about so far, which are kind of like more problematic in ways, this is one I do believe, and maybe it's because I'm a former Golos player, And I do still have a Golos deck that I don't really pull out anymore unless I, ask, and I do ask, obviously. I'm not going to be like, I'm playing this banned commander, you have to accept that. It's like, no, like, I very rarely play it, but, like, I play it if players are okay with that. But, yeah, Golos is one that I do think has some chance of being unbanned. It is above, Braids. It is above Recol. It's above Aurelion. It's a different kind of commander that was banned because, let's just read it really quick. 3/5, legendary creature scout for 5 mana. Enters battlefield, search library, land card, battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Pay 2 in Wooburg, exile top 3 cards of your library. You may play in this turn paying their mana cost. It is like 5-color, good stuff, randomness off the top of the library, fun times. In the rules committee, some in the rules committee had problems with that. Basically, the rules committee has said before, basically, they don't like 5-color good stuff. Generally, like, that's just kind of like, they kind of said that, and they said Golos is basically too powerful 5-color good stuff. I think that their argument was like, it's ubiquitous. You just use Golos over any other ones. It's like, well, yeah, but there's also, like, if you're playing, like, a certain other type of strategy, there's certain commanders at the top of that, too. So it's like, okay. As a 5-color player, I love 5-color commanders. Okay. Now, again, Golos was one that was banned more recently than, say, Emrakul, Braids, Aurelion. Like, this one was banned more recent. I think it's actually the most recent banning. So, again, it is one of those that's more top of mind, and it's one of those that Wizards could say, like, at the time we didn't agree with the rules committee when they made this banning, and we're undoing it. So it's more of a recent one that they could change versus like, that thing was problematic for such a long time. Like, this is one that where I think where Wizards could be like, yeah, we don't agree with the 5-color good stuff is problematic, so we're undoing this one. I could see them doing that. I don't think it's a high priority for them. Again, and again, if they do, like, banned as a commander, yeah, this one's just a shoe-in for, like, yeah, if they do banned as a commander, they're like, sure, Golos is banned as a commander, use it 99, whatever. Okay, next up, Grizzle Brand, 7/7, Demon Flying Lifelink for 8 mana in total, pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. This is yet another one that's like, oh, okay, they could probably justify unbanning it, but it is crazy, especially in Commander, where it's like, yeah, you got 40 life. Cool, just activate that, 6 times? There you go, have fun. Draw all those cards. Lovely. 42 cards, whatever that is. It is one where, and there's more problematic things out there, but I think it is, again, one of those that's like little chance unbanned. If we do have ban as a commander, it will be unbanned. Next up, Hull Breacher. Okay, here we go. 3/2 Murol Pirate with flash for 3 mana in blue. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, instead you create a treasure token. Okay, this is yet another one where, again, it's a more recent banning. And when it comes to more recent bannings, I think those have a higher likelihood of being unbanned than ones that have been banned for, well, I guess that's not entirely true. But I do think, like, the ones that are more top of mind, the most recent bannings, again, Golos, Hull Breacher, like, those around that area. And obviously the ones that just happened, I think those are more likely to be changed because Wizards clearly printed this and was like, it's okay for Commander. And then it wasn't okay for Commander for, what the rules committee's outlook on it was. So, yeah, this is a card where, again, I think that they just, like, unban it, most likely, and then they put it in power level 4, and then they're like, it's fine. Just say you don't want to play against power level 4. So I do think that this one actually has a decently high chance of being unbanned as well. Again, especially if they're trying to smoke screen the Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt and be like, okay, like, those are being unbanned, but also don't worry about it. Hey, look, here's these other ones getting unbanned. So it's not just for those two, like, it's other ones too. So I think that they're going to take advantage of this opportunity and actually make a big splash with a couple of unbannings. They're not going to ban anything for a long, long time, in my opinion. They are going to unban some things to be like, we're appeasing the community, even though, like, some things might not appease the community. Next up, Iona. I mean, this is one where they got to be like, okay, some people at Wizards probably like, you know what? Yeah, Iona, why in the world was that banned? 7/7 Angel flying for 9 mana in white, enters the battlefield, choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spells the chosen color. Yeah, like, the argument for this one getting banned, I think, was pretty ridiculous. Like, well, we're unbanning Painter's Servant, so therefore this really janky 11 mana 2-card combo is problematic. No, not at all. Iona's one that was not problematic and was banned. It's one that I don't think they're going to press to unban, though. Again, like, I don't think that they're going to press to unban this one. I mean, again, just because of the stance on whole, like, ban as a commander, like, if that happens, like, do I think this one has any more chance of getting unbanned than Golos? No, I think Golos is probably the most likely to get unbanned out of all those. It was pretty popular. That could be seen as something like appeasing the community. Iona, not popular, really, but again, a card that, in my opinion, shouldn't have been banned. I do think Iona is a little chance to be unbanned. We shall see, though. Again, they could lean on the power bracket system to somehow be like, yeah, this is a salty card, but it's not overly powerful, and it's not. Caracus. Legendary land, tap for a white, tap, return target legendary creature to owner's hand. This one is one that's like, again, they could just power level for it. It's one that I don't think has no chance of being unbanned. There's very few cards that I think have no chance, and maybe Nadu shouldn't be on the list because of that, because maybe like 10 years from now, they'll be like, yeah, whatever, Nadu. Like, right now, Nadu has no chance, though. Okay, Caracus, I do think, is probably a little chance unbanned. Like, I don't think it's very likely. I don't think it's unlikely at all ever, but I don't think it's going to get unbanned. Okay, Leovold, Emissary of Trest, a 3/3 Elf Advisor for 3 mana. In Sultai, each opponent can draw more than one card each turn. Whenever you, a permanent control, becomes a target spell or ability opponent controls, you may draw a card. This is, again, another one that I do believe, like, if they do ban as a commander, yeah, this one could be unbanned. So I'm going to say little chance unbanned. If they don't ever do ban as a commander, I don't think this one's ever coming off. So, I mean, unless they're like, yeah, we're just going to do the ban as a commander ones as like power 4. We shall see. Yeah, I think that this one's probably staying because this plus any wheel equals your opponents just can't do anything ever. All right, Library of Alexandria. Crazy expensive card. Test Recol, or draw a card from your library. Card drawing only if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand. It's worded a different way, but you know what I mean. This is one that's crazy expensive, and I mean, unbanning it would be interesting at this point. Like, it's a card, like, should it really be banned? Versus, like, other cards. Like, this is one that, like, I think does have a little chance to be unbanned, kind of like Caracus. It has a little chance to be unbanned. Didn't just say, like, okay, yeah, it's a crazy expensive card. It's unbanned. It's power level 4. Like, they could just do that. I don't think it's a no chance. It's not like Black Lotus, Incest Recall. It's not like the Dexterity cards. It's not like, again, Nadu being like, it's a complete design mistake. So we shall see. Limited resources, a card that's ridiculous for commander. Enchantment for a single white mana. Comes into play, each player chooses 5 lands they control and sacrifices the rest. As long as there are 10 or more lands in play, players cannot play lands. Again, in a 2-player game, it's like, yeah, we each have 5. It's fine. In Commander, it's like, okay, we each get like 2. 2.5. Yeah, so this is a card that, again, like, it's a card that most casual players, if not I'm not going to say all, but most casual players would not play. It's also, again, with their whole power bracket system, like, is it worse than Armageddon? I mean, kind of, because it shuts down lands from being played ever again, but, like, could they just put it up in power level 4 and be like, it's there? Maybe. I'm going to say a little chance unbanned. Again, I do believe that there are very few cards that are the no chance unbanned. There are very few, in my opinion. Next up, Lutri the Spell Chaser. This is one that is in the no chance unbanned. This is one that I think Wizards knew would just, like, not be able to be played in Commander, knew that it was going to be banned right away. And if you don't believe it should be banned, we're going to have a discussion later, because I do think this one should be banned. A 3/2 Elemental Otter for 3 mana, and is it? I guess I'm not going to go back and discuss it later, but, like, I'll discuss it now. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. So, you know, Commander, Singleton. Flash enters the battlefield. If you cast it, copy target in sorcery spell you control, you choose targets to copy. It does not matter what this does, okay? I think some people get hung up on, well, that's not overly powerful, copying something. I agree it's not overly powerful. And literally, if this was just a 3/2 that did nothing else, it would still be banned. Because it's just a free card for any deck that is Izzet colors. It's just literally like, oh, are you playing Izzet? You get a free 101st card for doing nothing. You literally have any Izzet colors. It doesn't matter unless you're playing, you know, anything that has, you know, any card of the deck, like Dragon's Approach or whatever, essentially, like Persistent Petitioners. Unless you're playing those kinds of decks, you literally just get this as a free additional card. So because of that, it's just a free advantage for no reason. It is banned, all right? It's just going to be banned. It's never going to be unbanned. Even the Wizards take over the format, potentially making some shakeups. I can never see them unbanning this, and if they do, I will be shocked. I would be more shocked for this to be unbanned than Black Lotus. I'm going to say that right now. Like, this to me, I think would shock me more for being unbanned than Black Lotus, and that is saying something. Next up, Mox Emerald, Mox Jet, Mox Pearl, Mox Ruby, and Mox Sapphire. The Moxin, Mox Sapphire, the Moxin, there we go. All cost 0, all can tap for 1 of the 5 colors, essentially. These are cards that, again, are power 9 cards. Now, again, with Mana Crypt getting unbanned, potentially, if it does, it's interesting to argue that shouldn't be banned, but these should be banned. And again, like, if Wizards is saying, like, it's okay for fast mana to be in the format, as long as we say it's power level 4 and that limits what people are playing it essentially, or what kinds of groups are going to be playing it. It's an interesting argument to say like that can be unbanned, but these can't. It's like, oh, there's too many fast mana things there. It's like, no, if you're going to unban one, which was just banned because it is fast mana, it's interesting for the argument for them to say like, but we're not going to unban these, and then maybe say it's because like they're reserve list cards. I don't know. We shall see. I do think that, again, I was like, yeah, power 9 cards usually are like no chance unbanned, but like I do think the Mox are, just because of their nature, little chance. Like, I mean, Black Lotus is just a different beast, essentially, but I do think, and maybe I'm speaking on both sides of my mouth there with that, I do think that the Moxin have a chance of being unbanned. I don't think it will happen. I don't even want to argue. Like, I think that they kind of should be unbanned again. If you are saying that fast mana is okay, and you are saying Mana Crypt is unbanned, I'm all for logic and being like, all right, let's just follow that logic then, and you just unban the other fast mana, in a way, essentially. So if they're, but that's believing that the power level 4 conversation or whatever it is that Wizards believe is going to work out properly will work, and I don't necessarily think that will. So there you go. Okay, Panoptic Mirror. This is one that I don't know why has ever been banned. Artifact for 5, Imprint XT tap. You remove an instant sorcery card with converting mana cost X in your hand from the game. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy the imprinted instant sorcery card and play the copy of paying its mana cost. I understand the combinations of it, right? Oh, it's really annoying if someone could Wrath of God every turn, or really annoying if someone Armageddon's every turn. This is a really long form 2-card combo. Like, again, you literally have to get this in play for 5 mana, pay the imprint cost of the card. Let's just again say it's Armageddon, so an extra 4 mana. You're paying 9 mana in total. You're getting rid of that card, and you've got to wait until your upkeep for this to actually happen. So again, this has to stick around. So it's not like just combo right away. It's absurd that this one is banned, in my opinion. And maybe Wizards will decide that as well, and just say like it's just a salty-ish card potentially. And if we have like Armageddon as a power level 4 card, then this doesn't work with that. I mean, it works with other things too, but again, I just think that, again, if Wizards is going to shake things up, this is one that, like, could just be like, yeah, it could be unbanned. This is probably one that's like, it's not a high priority card for them, though, I don't think. It's not one that I think, like, many people are, like, saying, like, yeah, unban it, because I really want to play with Panoptic Mirror. So I think it's a some chance unbanned. It's not a high splash unbanning, so I don't think that there's a high likelihood for it. But it is some chance unbanned, I think, because it is one that, well, again, I think could just be a card that is fine. So there you go. Paradox Engine, yet another card that, again, I think is more high profile because it is more recent years of the bannings, right? Ledge Artifact for 5, whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. Again, they could just say, like, okay, that's a power level 4 card. They could just, again, lean heavily on that power bracket system and say, like, this is doing the work for us. It is a fine card for those types of games. It's not fine for your regular casual games. So they could do that. It's a card they could say that we didn't agree with the banning at the time. I don't think it's not as obvious as an unban, I think, as, like, say, like, Coalition Victory, where that one's, like, an easy, like, oh, casual, or Gifts Ungiven, like, okay, like, Gifts Ungiven versus Vampiric Tutor, okay, like, or Hull Breachers, like, that was more recent, like, oh, we don't agree with that. I think Paradox Engine, yeah, I think this one's probably about in the some chance unbanned category. I think that that's where it lies. Next up, though, Primetime. I am a big believer that Primetime will get unbanned. I am a big believer in that. I think that is a high chance. Again, I think that if they're going to be doing this smoke screen unbanning of Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus, they will need a decent amount of cards unbanned with them. In total, I think like 5-6 is a decent amount, maybe even more. And I think Primetime's one that, like, could make some community members pretty happy that it's unbanned. Again, like, this is a card that, like, was at the time maybe problematic in Commander, but not really anymore compared to other really problematic cards. So it's one that kind of has been passed in recent years, and now, like, saying, like, okay, like, things have changed in Commander, we're unbanning these things. Primetime is one that could be a big splash card to unban, and again, that takes some focus away from, as well, of Mana Crypt Jewel Lotus. 6/6 Giant with trample for 6 mana in green. Whatever enters the battlefield or attacks, you may search life for the 2 land cards with battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Again, they could just throw it in whatever tier they want and be like, yeah, it's just that tier. Just don't play against that tier if you don't want to play against this card, kind of thing. We shall see if they handle it in that way. Prophet of Krufix. Okay. 2/3 Human Wizard for 5 mana in Simic. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each of the players' untap step. You may cast creature cards, though they had flash. Basically, in Commander, you get 4 turns, depending on the deck, right? If you're playing, like, all creatures, there you go. You get 4 turns in Commander, which is pretty crazy. This is one I'm kind of in the middle of, though, because, like, they could just be, again, they could just go, like, okay, it's a power level 4 card. Like, we have Seedborn Muse in the format. This is not quite Seedborn Muse, right? Seedborn Muse is a different animal, untapping all your lands, or untapping, say, all of your things, including, like, mana artifacts, mana rocks, and whatnot. But also, like, that doesn't give you flash. So this is one where they could just say it is power level 4, kind of, and maybe, like, I'm going to go with some chance unban. I'm going to go with it's above the little chance of all those cards, I think. And I think it is more along the lines of, like, that Paradox Engine. Like, I could see Paradox Engine and Prophet being unbanned at the same time, kind of. We shall see. Okay. Recurring Nightmare. Enchantment for 3 mana in black. Sacrifice a creature. Return it to its owner's hand. Put our creature card from your graveyard into play. Play its ability as a sorcery. I mean, it's a very good, reanimation card, of course. A very powerful reanimation card. One that also has combos as well. That being said, there's plenty of other things that do combo too. It's been one that's been argued to be unbanned for a while as well. I do think this is a some chance unbanned card. It's one that's, like, not unreasonable. It's one that is powerful, but again, it isn't one that, like, players have been like, why? Like, it's not like Prime Time. It's not like Coalition Victory where players are like, this should really be unbanned, and it's not going to appeal to casuals all that much, I wouldn't think. So I think that this would be one that's not high priority. Raphellos, Landor Emissary, 2/1 Elf Legend, 4/2 mana in green, tap for 1 green mana, your mana pool for each force you control. Again, if they do ban as a commander, if they bring that back, this could just be banned as a commander. I don't even know if it needs to be anymore these days anyways, if you just like, okay, like power level 4, sure. I think it does have little chance to be unbanned, though, unless they do change that. Shahrazad, basically, it gives you a mini game in Magic, just for, like, I think it's, what, half your life total, essentially. Yeah, mini game in Magic. This is another one of those that's just kind of like the Dexterity cards in Loot Tree, where it's just like, it's banned for a different reason. It's not banned because it's overpowered. It's just banned because it literally changes the game of Magic and just does something that Magic shouldn't be doing. So there you go. It is no chance unbanned, like, ever, okay? Sunring Titan. A 7/10 golem for 8 mana, enters, leaves the battlefield, features a land of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. This is another one where, again, if Wizards is like, okay, like, land destruction, we have our own category for that, like, in this power bracket system kind of thing. So land destruction is okay for certain groups. Like, why are certain cards in land destruction banned then? Like this one. This is one that you could very easily, like, you know, if you blink it, it's destroying a lot of things, obviously, but it also costs 8 mana to get out. Yeah, it is one where, again, there's not, like, a huge call for this thing to be unbanned. That being said, like, compared to Armageddon, like, why is this banned and why is Armageddon not banned? Or, yeah, kind of thing. So, like, I think this is more of a little chance unbanned. We shall see, though. Maybe it's even some chance because, yeah, it's on a different level. Maybe. I don't know. Like, the thing with, like the land destruction ones are, like, there's not players that are like, yeah, this has to be unbanned. Okay, maybe I'm overselling it, but, like, let's go with some chance unbanned for this one. I think this one has a higher percentage chance than, say, like, well, the Moxin and all those. Okay, next up, Sway the Stars. This is one that I've said should be unbanned for a while, but that's just me. Sorcery for 10 mana in total in blue. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard and permanents they own in their library. Draw 7 cards. Each player's life will become 7. I mean, they just unbanned what Worldfire, whatever that one was, essentially, right? Where it's like, yeah, kind of the same thing, but different. This one, like, resets the game, but everyone is at 7. The other one resets the game and everyone's at 1. So, like, it's going to end really quickly. This one still can end pretty quickly, too. It is a 10 mana card, so it costs a lot to get to that point, obviously. So, like, I don't know. Like, this is one that, like, definitely could be unbanned if they're like, yeah, this is just a power level whatever card kind of thing. Like, this is a one that's got a certain amount of salt to it. I don't think it's, like, it's not a huge priority for them to unban. I'm going to say it's a some chance unban card, though, because it definitely could be. Stone Primordial, kind of in the same vein as the Sundering Titan. Again, like, I'm kind of on the border of, like, little chance to some chance. This one's probably right along the lines, though, of that Sundering Titan, so let's just throw it up there in the some chance unban. A 6/8 Avatar with reach for 7 mana in green. Enters the battlefield for each opponent. Destroy target non-creature permanent that player controls. For each opponent, destroy this way. Search library for a forest card. Play the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Basically, massacre your opponent's lands for the most part and ramp while you're doing so. So, yeah, it's a very powerful card once you get it going. It does cost 7 mana, though, obviously, so that's quite a bit. That being said, again, like, is it a huge priority for Wizards to unban it? Probably not at all. We shall see, though. Next up. Time Vault, an artifact for 2. You tap to get extra turn for this one. Doesn't untap normally during an untap phase. To untap, you must skip a turn. It begins tapped. I mean, there's other ways to untap it, of course. Yeah, it's a crazy powerful card. This is one that, again, this is one that probably will just never be unbanned. Like, no chance unbanned. It is not Power 9, technically. But, yeah, it is. It's interesting that I think the Moxin will be unbanned before these, though. This one, though. But I don't know. There's just something about just how powerful that is. Indeed. Okay. Time Walk, again, this one is Power 9. This one is just way undercosted for being an extra turn. 2 mana, extra turn, sorcery speed in blue. Yeah, this one is one that I just don't think Wizards could ever justify unbanning. We shall see, though. Tinker, sorcery for 3 mana in blue. When you play it, sacrifice an artifact, search life for an artifact card, put the artifact into play, shuffle your library afterwards. I mean, it's tutoring something directly into play. We've got other things that can tutor things directly into play. 3 mana is very low. It is one that I do think that Wizards, again, if they're like really leaning heavily into their power level thing, they could just be like, yeah, this is a power level 4 card. Like, this is a power level 4 card. It's not doing that isn't like already seen in Magic. Like, there are ways to tutor things directly into play. This is a very efficient way to do so. So I do think that they could throw this in the some chance unbanned. Like, I do think that there is a percentage chance that they're just like, yeah, we're unbanning it. And yeah, only play it with certain play groups or whatever. It's like this power level, but I do think there's a chance. Tolarian Academy, again, Gaia's Cradle is unbanned. That does not mean Tolarian Academy is the same level that it is above that, because getting artifacts in play is much easier. I mean, still, it's getting easier to get creatures in play too. Legendary Land. Tap Array blue for each artifact you control. Crazy, crazy, crazy powerful. That being said, could this be unbanned? Yes, I do think that it's not like in the no chance unbanned category. I think it is in the little chance to be unbanned category. It's something that would make a major splash. Again, as we talked about earlier with like the MTG stocks and, like, you know, the numbers going up for this one up to $200. Some of the people think it's going to be unbanned potentially, but I think that, yeah, it's a little chance. There is a chance it'd be splashy if they did it. And they would say, like, oh, it's a power level 4 card. But we shall see. Trade Secrets, sorcery for 3 mana in blue. Target opponent draws 2 cards, and you draw up to 4 cards. The opponent may repeat this process as many times as they choose. Yeah, I mean, this is a card that, again, is kind of like that. It just is a different type of card in why it's actually banned. It's not banned because of, I mean, kind of technically power level reasons, but, like, this in a 2-person format makes sense. This in a 4-person format does not make sense, like, kind of card. This is like, hey, do you want to draw a ton of cards, like your entire deck and me as well, for 3 mana, and our opponents don't get to do that? Yeah, this is a card that is kind of like Lutri band, Charizard band, like all those types of cards. It's like in that same area, and so I don't think there's any chance that this one gets unbanned. Upheaval. Upheaval is a sorcery for 6 mana in blue. Return all permanents to owner's hands. This is, again, kind of like basically Armageddon-ish, like reset the game. And this one totally resets the game. There's other ones that do, like World Purge does that though too. That being said, like this, you have to like, you could like, you know, float mana and so cast other things essentially, so you can get ahead of people, like, you know, Psychotog decks back in the day. That being said, do I think that they're going to unban this one? I mean, I think this one could be like a big, like, again, if they actually, I mean, I lean this one more so than a lot of others, really, I do. Like, this is like, to me, like some chance unban to like high chance unban, really. Like, again, like with these like land destruction type things, like people aren't like clamoring over like, hey, Wizards, you need to unban these. But, like, again, if they're thinking that this power bracket 4 thing is going to work for them, like, I could see them being like, yeah, it's, like, no worse than Armageddon, really, so there you go. Like, there you go. Just use it in that same way. So, yeah, I think this one's, like, some chance to, like, high chance even. So, there you go. Finally, Yawgmoth's Bargain. If I could get there, you go. Yawgmoth's Bargain. Enchantment for 6 mana in black. Skip your draw step. Pay 1 life. Draw a card. I mean, Necropotence is legal in the format already. They could make a splash and unban this one as well. Will they do that? I don't know. Power level 4, most definitely. Yeah, maybe because I have it in my mind that there's going to be like 5-6 cards unbanned, and I do think that the ones that I have up there right now in that high chance unban are probably the most likely candidates to be unbanned, potentially, and you could definitely disagree with that, and I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, constructive criticism, please, in the comments below. But I do think that, like, those ones in my mind are just more likely than any of the other ones to be unbanned right now. So I'm going to say that those are just up there. And I can't kind of make that next jump for even, like, a Yawgmoth's Bargain or, like, Upheaval or Tinker to say, like, those are up there. I do think that I feel pretty good about this list right now. Again, like, the weird one on there for Commanders itself is, like, Golos, but Golos was a more recent Commander banning versus, like, again, say, Braids, etc., etc., etc. Again, all the Commanders that are on this, like, you know, Golos, Braids, Emrakul, Arayo, Grizzlebrand, Iona, Leovold, and Rafelos. There we go. Did I get them all? I guess Nadu's there, too, but there you go. I guess Lutri technically as well. if they do banned as a commander, like, yeah, that would solve and could unban. So I guess that's where Nadu could technically be unbanned, basically, as well. But I think just like with the recent banning of it and like saying it was a huge mistake or whatnot, like I don't think they do that. But yeah, if they change the rule to, you know, banned as a commander, they would just unban all those, I think. So there you go for the 99. Interesting though. Okay. Love to hear from you in the comments what your thoughts are on all this. Again, I do think that Wizards is going to make a move at some point because like they only have so much time to make this move, it seems like. You know, like they are going to be like, okay, we're trying to sell things down. And you know what? We heard from the community. We listened to the community. That's what they're going to say. We listened to the community, and they didn't want these things banned. But it's like more so like, we want money from these cards in the future. So there you go. Mana Crypt, Jewel Lotus, I think. And they're going to smokescreen that with other cards. So Coalition Victory, again, a huge, like, you know, community. Like, hey, like, we love this card. Why not use it? Gifts Ungiven, again, no more powerful than Vampiric Tutor, really. I mean, it's definitely not as powerful, even in my opinion. Hull Breacher, again, a more recent ban that's like, yeah, okay, that's just like more of like a CDH type card, so keep it there. And then Primetime is a card that, again, like, okay, it's been passed by a lot of other cards recently. So those 6, I do think, like, they'll just, like, again, if they're going to unban Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus, they're going to do a big unbanning, and they'll unban quite a few of them. So I think that they're going to make this push. There's some other ones that, like, could be unbanned in this. I don't think that these are likely at all. And these are just basically no's. I mean, again, maybe Nadu if they ever do like the ban as a commander, but we shall see. Regardless, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Constructive criticism, please. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.